female bodybuilding channel. And today we're joined by Jada Beverly.
Hello.
Hi.
We saw you in 2020 on the women's physique stage.
Yeah.
Myself and JB, I was like, JB, could you imagine if she's one of the athletes that should switch to women's bodybuilding? Because
no way.
we were like, yeah.
Wow. Would have never guessed.
Then we saw the Tampa Pro announcement. Saw your name on the list. And we were really excited about that. It was a great surprise.
Nice. Yeah, hold on. It was my pro debut. I don't think they got a chance to announce that, but yeah. for women's bodybuilding pro debut.
Before we go into why, tell us a little bit, how did you fall in love with bodybuilding first?
Well, I was kind of always like an athlete at heart. So my parents had me doing equestrian sports growing up, so I did that a lot. And then I had a passion for like other things like gymnastics, and like I wanted to be a model and stuff. So when I got out of the military, because I joined at like 18 and did 4.5 years, then I got into pageants. But when I was told that I was a bit too sporty and too athletic, like pageants, when I got to the higher levels, they weren't going to work for me. So I was like, I have to find another out. And then that's when I started looking into competing as a sport and fitness. And so I started in figure.
Okay. Yeah.
I already knew heels. So I started in figure. I was in figure for a while and I was liking it. I was like, okay, I think maybe I can have better luck with maybe this. But then I started getting too muscular in certain areas. So made a decision after doing the Arnold 2018. And I just missed, because the first Arnold I got in the top 5, and this one I just missed by 1 placement. So I'm like, I got to do something different. So I tried women's physique for the first time at a local show and won it just like that. And that was enough for me.
Let me just ask you some questions then. Do you think figure now is too close to women's physique in the muscle criteria?
Yeah.
You think Definitely.
So? Everybody does so. I don't know.
Yes, I do.
Is that something the figure athletes worry about, or?
I guess not, because the numbers keep piling in, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do.
They're just doing whatever it takes to try and do well, just like we all do in every division, and so, you're always chasing what's getting called in the top 5. And so that's what these girls are doing. Because Autumn, the girl that I roomed with, Autumn Swanson.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's my friend. And we were at that show together. She's like, it's been difficult for me, trying to get up to par. She's like, I might as well just go back to women's physique because that's easier for me to pose without heels and actually be able to hit poses. So she's thinking about, I think, switching. But yeah, so it is a concern for some.
So you moved into women's physique, and then what? And how did you like it in women's physique first?
I definitely liked it. It was so much fun being able to be able to express myself and pose and actually do a posing routine. So I just loved it. Then I went the following year chasing a pro card, which I finally got at USA's by winning. So it was really awesome. And then I hit the stage last year doing all female physique shows, or on the pro side of it. So my best placement was 4th.
What show was that?
That was Omaha.
Okay. Yes. But you also did some stacked show, didn't you, last year? I think
I did very stacked shows. I did New York, placed 7th. I did Shreveport 8th. I did Tampa, placed 10th or 9th, something like that. It was still top 10. And then I shouldn't have done a 5th show. My body was taxed and tired, and I did terrible at Chicago. I don't want to talk about it. But we originally were going to make the switch at that show, but I was told not to do it yet.
What do you mean you were told? By who? Or is that a secret?
It's kind of a secret, but it was a couple of judges, a couple of people I got feedback from. one was like, yes, do it. The other was like, no. And the other one was on the fence. And so then I was just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So it was really my fault. I decided, okay, fine, I'll do physique one more time.
Well, I find it very because we talk to a lot of athletes, and I also do media with male athletes, and I found in the women's division it's hard to listen to the judges of what you're supposed to do.
Oh my goodness, yes,
because it's such a different opinion on female classes. It depends who you ask, correct?
Yes, versus like, yeah, definitely. It's, yeah.
We're not going to go into too much of that, but it's a big difference, correct?
Yeah, it was basically some of my feedback, and bless their hearts, I appreciate the judges' feedback. They do the best they can, but it was like they were literally trying to tell me that I was going to have to literally shave off hip bone structure to fit into like the way I needed to look. I'm like, I can't do that. That is literal bone. I cannot diet that off.
So you saw the Olympia, the Miss Olympia, the return of women's bodybuilding. Were you at the Olympia, by the way?
Yes, but from afar. But yeah, and I went to the one the year before too, and it was still in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah. So how was the women's bodybuilding for you at the Olympia? Did you get inspired? Did you think I want to do this because of this? What were your?
I wanted to do it before that because I just felt like that's where my physique and body type was going towards. You know, so I wanted to watch it though, because I've been to the Wings of Strength shows out there in Phoenix, the Rising Phoenix. And I remember thinking when I just turned pro, like, oh my God, these women are amazing. I could never be like this. I wish I could. I remember thinking.
Well, you're close now, even though the judges didn't seem to think it in Savannah, but we get into that later. But anyway, so when did you decide to switch to women's bodybuilding?
So like I said, I wanted to do it last year at Chicago. I started even training to do that. And then 3 weeks out, we decided, no, let's try to fit back into physique and do that one last time and see what happens. And I remember one of the judges telling me, you know, depending on how you place, you'll have your answer. And I just took that and ran with it. And I was like, okay, I have my answer then, you know. So that's
first Tampa Pro with the new criteria in women's bodybuilding. It's a different look now than bodybuilding in the past. It's JB. JB's been following women's bodybuilding since 1961, correct, JB?
Oh, yeah. 61.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. You've been following for a long time, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
No.
Yeah, it may changes a lot of times since the beginning in the 70s. Yeah, it's like a kind of wave going up, going down with the size or the symmetry stuff or the conditioning and so on. And now we are back to the more conditioned stuff and going too far to condition. You know the story. And And now we have I call it these 2 days back to the middleweight. You know what I mean? Look for the middleweight criteria.
Would you say, BJ, like, do you think it's like kind of like slowly trying to inch back to the Linda Murray days?
Yeah.
Do you think? Okay.
More Corey Everson days. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe they wanted to look at like that, the judges, but but it's always like the same when you're going onto a contest. You have a criteria there, and the next contest the criteria is changing because the head judge is changing.
So different. And like, this one was so different than Tampa.
yeah, they should have a conference or something else. They literally do, but only once a year with Sandy Williamson, and but it's not enough. But it makes it also a little bit interesting. So you have always to find out what's going on. Yeah,
it makes it interesting, but it makes it very hard for the athletes to prep for a show, though.
Yeah,
and it's the athletes first. So some of the judges, they don't really like women's bodybuilding, I think. So they don't.
It feels like that. It
does. So I know. So they don't even pay attention, or they judge with what they're liking, or I don't know.
Or who
So
they
how
know
was-
is popular.
Yeah.
Who they
Yeah.
know has been at it for a minute. Yeah.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
Tampa Pro, how was it for you? Your debut?
It was kind of like what I expected it would be, you know. They like hard bodies there. And I knew I was only coming in at 70%, but I
Okay.
knew that for me, I have to do a show to warm up and be ready for the next show and the next show, because I always look better and better until I reach 4. And then I'm like, okay, cut off time. We cannot do 5. So I needed to do something. I had to do something. And with all the surgery that like it made a lot of shows like me miss them, because I had some knee stuff going on and I had to get that right. So I was very late in the season this year getting ready for shows. Tampa was the only one that I could grab and do before Savannah. So I'm like, I got to do it. So I did it.
So then we saw the Savannah Pro, who was the last regular season Olympic qualifier.
Yes.
We knew that some of the top girls were not doing it. I don't know why.
Because they were going into this big one coming around the corner. They wanted to save everything in the box for that. Yeah.
So we saw your name, and we saw LaDawn, Rashana and Janine and Nikki. Those, you amongst them, were what we were expecting in that top 5.
Yes. Yeah.
Then we see first call out, and your name is not being called. I saw Dennis James was like, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isabel Terrell was a little bit more politically correct. She was just quiet, but I think she was
confused.
JB was freaking out. And what were you thinking when your name was not in the first call out?
I literally was standing up there and like, I was like, wow, they're seriously doing this shit to me again. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I turned around and smiled at the crowd, and I saw Linda sitting back there, and she literally had this like stare on her, like, what is happening right now? And I think she looked right at me, and then she looked at the middle, and she looked at me again. I don't know. It was wild. It was wild. And then when I missed the second call out, I just felt like at this point, this is comical. This went from a tragedy to comical.
I was thinking, was there any political reasons, but I can't think of any.
Had to have been. I don't know what.
Yeah, but I pay close attention to everything. And
good.
The only political thing you've done was to have an interview with Stephanie there, talking about dangers.
What I've done, you know, like I wasn't even talking about anybody bad. You know, the team that I left, they're a bikini team anyway. So,
and even if you did, as an athlete, you're allowed to criticize a coach. That has nothing to do with the organization of the pro league. You know.
That's what I thought too. I don't know. I don't know.
So it's always speculation, you know.
So when you got 11th place.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk negatively about the girls who beat you, but there are some names there who normally wouldn't have beat you with their same physique and conditioning that they brought, and they beat you.
Yeah.
What were you thinking afterwards? Because we saw you've been a little bit vocal on social media, and what went through your mind?
I just wanted to see what other people thought. I wanted to see if like maybe I wasn't crazy, because at the time I was considering maybe this isn't my sport. Maybe like this just, I don't fit this. Like the judges are trying to say like, this ain't for you, sweetie. Like, I don't know. Like, so like I wanted other people's opinion. So that's why I posted those pictures, and I said nothing really. This is 6th place, first place, this is 11th place. What do you guys think? That's all I did, you know.
Well, you know, especially amongst the female athletes, this is the first time I think we've seen it in 10 years. So we've never seen anything like this, that the athletes speak out. So it is good. But how much did you weigh on stage?
Not really sure, because the night before I weighed myself, I think it said 160, and I'm like I'm just a hair under 5'8". So
and
yeah.
And the conditioning was it was good. It wasn't bad at all.
No, I know. Guys, it's the $1 million question. I mean, because a lot of people thought it was weird because they didn't even want me in the top 10. They didn't want to see me do my routine. They didn't want to see me do the pose down. They were just like, put her at 11, done. And nothing against, the judges, like, it's their opinion, that was their day. But it's also, I told my coach, Sean, Wicked Sean, I'm like, we might be in a little trouble, because when he came backstage to show me my little individual that he recorded for me, because he's like, I want you to see how good you look so that you know. I'm like, well, Sean, hey, he's like, I'm like, listen, I'm like, we might be in some trouble though. He's like, why? I was like, well, when I went out and did the comparisons with everybody, I was like, the judges were kind of trying not to look at me, and I couldn't understand that. And whenever that's happened to me at a show, I did very badly. And so I was like, I don't know what that means. I don't know why they're not looking at me. And then I said, when I did my individual, and when I noticed, like, because whenever you front face and smile and whatever, I was like, they barely looked at me then too. And their faces were like in paperwork. And it was so odd, you guys. Like, it was so odd. I don't know. Have you
asked them? Have you asked some of the judges what was wrong?
Yeah, I'm actually so afraid. Like, I don't know how to go about it. Like, I don't know. I definitely want to show the pictures to the platform that I was at Tampa, to show them the changes and see what they think about the changes, because they saw me first. But the only judge that I've been judged by at that show, Savannah, was the head judge. Everyone else, I don't think, has ever judged me before. So, yeah.
So what you have to do is to reach out to the head judge on DM and ask.
Yeah.
Or you could ask probably Alina Popa, because she's like, she does everything. Yeah, maybe she can ask them.
Okay.
JB, don't you think so, JB? That's the best way.
Yeah, it's the best way. Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, like, I don't know if anybody's going to see this or not, but it was never a knock on the winner. The winner was totally fine. I expected her to win. She knows I was gunning for her at Chicago last year when she took second. And I thought she should have won. So, like, there's nothing that was trying to pull that win from Shauna, by no means. But what the thing was is, why one athlete, myself, looked very close to her, but placed outside of the 10th, top 10. That's all. That's what the pictures on my Instagram were trying to discuss. Like, I'm pretty close to the winner, but I'm like 11th.
Because the structure is much closer to her than the girl in, like, Aretha West in 10th, for instance, who beat you, or
yeah. Because in Dennis James's eyes, he's like, it should have been 1 and 2, you and her. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that too, but
well, you should talk to some of the head judges and Alina Popa, but the best way maybe is just to forget about it. And what's the plan now?
Yeah, so, like, I've been talking to some people, and Dennis James brought this to my attention too. And I there's some shows coming up that are next year qualifiers. Now, I don't feel like I don't feel like Toronto is going to happen, because there's just too much going on in Canada. And even though his name is Ron Hatch, he really wants to have his show, but Canadians are saying there ain't no way. And I have the contract, so I was like, what if they moved it to the United States so he could at least have it? I don't know. It sounds like a great idea, but what do I know? And then there's one in November. It's the Spain show. Big Man Muscle is doing another one in late November. It's late November.
Are you sure about, is that confirmed?
Yeah, it's still being confirmed. Yeah, it's still on the list too. I'm gonna still double check. But here's what I would have to do. I would have to have sponsorships help me get out there, because I'd have to be out there for a whole entire week. And then I would need to make sure that their mandation for COVID was staying the same. Because as of right now, if you can prove that you need to go over there for more reasons than just luxury, and like I figure, well, competition, it's kind of like my career, my business, my job as an athlete to compete. So I should be able to twist that into a business trip. You just have to test negative for COVID there as you get there, and even maybe one more time once you land, and of course before you're leaving. And that's how you're able to travel as a USA citizen into Spain at the moment. So it's like possible, but I don't know yet.
But have you thought about me and JB's second home, Romania? What about Romania Pro?
Same thing. Like, how would I get out there? It'd probably be like the same thing with getting to Spain, right?
Romania right now, because we live in Europe, and that's the only country that's green in Europe.
Really?
Romania. So now there's no rules to get. That's the only country in Europe you can just go straight in.
I could get there because I have a passport. I know. I'm ready.
and that's the same show as Jake Wood, who owns the Olympia, has, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I know. Yep, that's the Wings of Strength show. Yep. Tim Gardner. Yep.
That could be something. When will you make your decision? And when will you, if people want to help you out, where do they go?
I'm looking for a show right now, ASAP. I'm not coming out of prep. So like, it's kind of like now, like I'm looking like now.
Like right
to
now.
do a show.
Good. One second. What? 1 second. Can you hear me, JB?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where can people help? Okay, first you need to decide a show, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And where can people help if they want to help you?
Would be it, then yeah, that would be the choice if I can get straight over there.
And how can people help you? Because you need sponsors. Where can people contact you?
Right, definitely through my IG, which has a GoFundMe attached, and then IG and Messenger on Facebook. Usually people contact me and talk to me through there. And then there's all the different, little like, what do people use? PayPal and Venmo and Cash App and all those. I think I have them all.
So this means we have to find the show, most likely Romania Pro.
Mm-hmm.
You will announce.
It sounds like that'd be the easiest for me to slip over to. Yeah.
You will announce it soon on your Instagram that you're doing it, correct?
Of course, yes, obviously.
And then it is game time, correct?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. That's the plan.
That one is in like what? Is it late October or early November?
It's 20th. When is it, JB? The 20th of November, I think.
20th of November, yeah.
Oh, so it's in November. Okay. Oh, that's the one that's right before Spain.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
So you can do both.
Technically. Yeah, I could.
And in Europe, the athletes, they're good, but you have a different look. So there's not many Americans that's sadly done.
No, there's not.
I don't know why. Muna Porsaye did Romania last year. She got 4th, you know, Muna.
Yes, of course I do. Yes.
She got 4th there last year, but there haven't been so many athletes. Monique Jones won it in 2018, but
okay.
Romania, yeah, but there hasn't.
So she did go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need some Americans to come over and grace us with their presence.
It was my dream when I became a pro. That was what I was most excited about. I was like, I want to travel internationally and compete. And I've yet to do it. So, yeah.
Well, Jada, thank you for coming on. It's been interesting. We liked getting to know you better, to see your personality.
Thank you, guys.
And we're excited. And Jada, we're excited about the future. This was just a little bit. We're excited.
A little ditch in the little pothole in the road.
Yeah.
We get through it. We go on.
Okay, thank you, Jada. And you got to end it. We see you in epic condition, Jada. Jada,
Yeah.
you got to end it with a front double.
Okay, let me see if I can get the
We can see that. We can see the pecs there. We can see everything.
Here, you know what I'm going to do?
It's not okay. There we go. Let's see.
Ooh,
So this is better.
that's nice.
Oi, Jada's looking.
Oi, oi, oi.
She's looking crazy. JB. Oh, that's
You know, I gotta show those.
you gotta show those. You gotta show them. Looking great.
Wow.
And
All right,
Jada,
guys.
we can't wait to see you on stage in November.
Awesome. I can't
Bye-bye.
wait. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care.